Hey, what's up? It's Colleen here. I have a very special message. I have a very special announcement, at least for my world. And the kind of concept of today's video is about the faith it takes to authentically go to your next level. You know, so many of us are striving to create something of impact in the world, really make a difference, leave a legacy, help others, and feel lit up by what we do. You know, and if you're anything like me, there's a lot of stuff you could be really good at, right? And maybe you're in a career right now that you feel awesome at and you've had some success in, but just isn't lighting you up. And it's probably really freaking confusing because if you're so good at it, if you've been at it for a while, you've invested in it, you've poured your heart and soul into it. Other people tell you you're awesome at it, right? And so it could feel like if you jump to something else, maybe there's a certain vision you have for your life or for your career or for a relationship. But right now I'm specifically talking about purpose and leaving a legacy and a career. But, you know, maybe you are somebody who feels like if you did leap, you could lose it all, right? Like if you really stepped into this little vision you might have right in your heart, or that you've been seeing for a while, or just this cool inkling of just trying anything else, it's freaking terrifying. And I want to put my perspective on this, that it can be freaking terrifying because it means that you're going to be fully vulnerable in yourself on a path that maybe others haven't walked before. You know, so many of us are here to make something new and do things in a way that's completely unique to us, to be able to serve the planet in a way that nobody else can because they're not you and they don't have your vision and they don't have that desire deep within their soul. But I want to share my commitment today and my message here today, which is that we can go to our next level authentically, whatever it looks like, and that will be what has you truly fulfilled, that it's safe to do that the only way to really go for it is by going for it and making a plan for it, or just being willing to have the faith. But the more that you can go to that place, the more you will be fulfilled. And the more that you trust your intuition and that quiet knocking on the door and your faith in the universe to have your back, that's when we can really strive. But I want to share my story of this because it can be so easy to talk about, or for people to like kind of live out their version, but without knowing the true background of how freaking terrifying it is, it can seem really easy. It's not. So I'm Colleen Coles, and I'm a purpose alignment coach, and I help women entrepreneurs thrive in their work, in their business, in their life, and even helping other women who want to do something of their own start on that path of purpose and authenticity and alignment. So I used to be a teacher. I was an elementary teacher, and I had spent so much time and like studying for that and creating that. And once I finally had the opportunity to teach, I started by subbing. I moved cross country to a tiny town in Virginia, and because I just loved it, I felt inspired. And as soon as I got there, I thought I'd get a job. It didn't happen, so I was like, I'll substitute. I'll do that. I got the chance to teach a little bit, but the more I had the opportunity to really go to my next level and really hardcore for the next school year, you know, hit the books and go to the interviews and show them what I got, I just wasn't feeling it, and I couldn't tell why, and it was so frustrating because I was like then giving myself a hard time that I sucked because I should be wanting this. I should go. Like, I need to complete this chapter. I need to use my gifts. I need to make use of this investment of my time. And yet the more that I got clear and the more that I pushed it, the more gray I felt, the more like tired I felt. It was just not fun. And so finally I had this moment walking out of a teacher's room. She was a kindergarten teacher, and I was exhausted from subbing her class all day. I shut the lights off, and as I was walking out the door, I spotted a little magnet she had on her filing cabinet. And that little magnet said, "Do more of what makes you happy." And it was in these beautiful colorful letters, kind of like the colors I have behind me in my bookshelf. And in that moment, I just had this realization that I was not doing that, and why should I not? Like, we only got one life. If she has permission to do that and she's giving her kindergartners permission to do that, why am I not living that life? And so from that moment, I decided I'm gonna do something differently. And I said, F all of these shoulds and let me go do what I really want. And at that time, I really wanted to work in the service industry. I'd never done that to this like prude teacher lifestyle, to me at least. It seems so like almost risque to work at night and have the opportunity to drink alcohol all the time and whatever. But I decided to do that, and I got a job on the spot at one of the coolest restaurants in the town I lived in. I worked there, I was studying sign language, I was studying energy, I was studying women's empowerment, and I came across a course that taught all about how to be yourself in the world as an empowered woman. And to make this story kind of shorter, I ended up, instead of going into counseling or getting a master's in counseling, which also was kind of not lighting me up, but another sub-level of like, I went the other direction and decided to be a coach. That was back in 2015, and I've been coaching for four and a half years now. And it's been an amazing journey. It has been an absolutely amazing journey. But recently I found myself in a similar stuck situation. And being a purpose alignment coach and mentor and healer, I was quite confused because I knew these patterns, I knew what to kind of do about it, and I knew why we can do that. I tuned into my intuition all the time, and looked at mentors, and just started to feel gray again, and I could not figure out why. And so maybe you're with me on this of like you wanting to go to your next level. I don't know what you do, but maybe you have this like idea in your head that you think could be really cool, but like it's kind of impossible. Like, let's just be real. That's kind of how I felt. Back a couple years ago in 2017, as I had been coaching for about a year and a half, having one-on-one clients, starting to really narrow down on purpose and relationships and authenticity and living from a place of guided action and intuition, really purpose, I started to have this idea and this tiny little vision of what would be so cool in my eyes. And what that vision was like, I remember coming to a coach about it who was like a multi-million-dollar coach. I was working with her in her like elite group, and I was very stoked to be there. And I kind of brought it up to her and I said, what if we had this like purpose school, like a purpose academy, and I could call it like Colleen's Ferris wheel of purpose, where you get on, you have an issue of either needing to discover your purpose, needing the time to live your purpose and create it in the world, money management, anything to do with you really living out what you're here to do. What if I just created different programs for people to go through on that Ferris wheel, and by the end of their journey with me, they'd be ready to blast off and take off and do what they're here to do. Intuition, trusting what that is. There's so many things that I thought of. And yet at that time, my coach, she was like, I love it. I think it's great, but you need to be making more money, and this is how we do it in the industry. I said, oh, okay, you're right. You're the mentor. Got it. So I kept doing one-on-one coaching, et cetera, et cetera. But what I noticed was that I had this like push-pull relationship in my coaching business where I'd get really fired up about something, think it had to be this certain way, and then it would be kind of rocky. It'd be kind of hard to really have it manifest in my world. Clients would kind of dip out, credit cards wouldn't go through, really weird things would happen kind of over and over again, to the point that it had me asking this last year, what is going on? Nothing like having a baby and finding out you're pregnant to really ask those fundamental questions. I gotta get my shit together. So that's where I was at. And all of this to say, in the past month, I've had this immense realization, but it's scared the shit out of me. And that's why I'm sharing this with you, is because I want to be a witness to you and possibly an inspiration of just one woman on the path who's willing to take a stand for what's in here and go for it no matter what, trusting and faith that the universe indeed has her back, that God will support her, and that you can trust yourself to do what you really see within. So I'm here to claim a new vision for myself and for my work in the world. And I was on a walk today, and my husband recently had talked to me over dinner and said, you know, Colleen, like with all that you're talking about, I just see Jesus, who's one of my main mentors, on the water, and the boat's rocking and you're just kind of going back and forth on the deck, like asking questions and wondering if and all these things. And he's just standing there in the water with his hand out, just waiting for you to come join him. And I went on a walk today, and as I walked, I thought about that vision. And I had recently gone through all of my papers that I had before having my baby and clearing out. And I had this paper of all these different plans and all these like strict, I don't really want to get into it, but I decided to freaking burn it because I was like, this ain't me. This energy is not me. I've inherited this and it's time to let it go. And after I did that, I felt very liberated, but also a little shaky of what's next. And on that walk, I decided, yo girl, you know what's next. You've had this vision for a while. It's time to let it go. It's time to let it out. And so I went on a run. I felt super excited. The clarity came to me, and I'm choosing to freaking stand for it, y'all. I'm choosing to freaking stand for it. And what that looks like for me in my world and my work in the world and my business is, instead of coaching so much one-on-one, really opening up like more of an academy of purpose, an academy of being you in the world and expressing that in your relationships, with your partnership of your intuition, in your time and your money, and all of those ways that are tools for you to bring down the spirituality into grounded physical space so that you can go help the people you're here to help. And you are here to live the life that would make you feel fulfilled. So I'm taking a stand, and it's really cool because it's all coming back full circle that I get to teach again. I'm gonna be a teacher, and I'm super stoked. So I wanted to share this, and please leave me a comment if this story resonates with you, if you're willing to stand for what you see in your heart, even if others said that it couldn't be done, even if others said that it wasn't smart to do. Because look, they might be right. They might be right. In fact, my mentors, who are awesome and I'm grateful for, they were right. However, I learned that you can only be so happy living in a space that is really not your own. And so I'm gonna be living in a new level, in a new space. And I wanna share this openly and honestly with you because, I don't know, I think it's so fun when people can be really authentic online, on the internet. And I wanna be a mentor or a teacher who is fully transparent in a way that's really healthy, right? Not too much. But you know, not pretending that I've got it all together, not pretending like it's all figured out. I really want to show you, that's what I did back when I started my coaching, and it wasn't really fulfilling, and I looked back at my stuff and I was like, girl, you could have told them you were having a hard time there and they would have like supported you. And so that's what I want to do now. It's like a second time around on my own little Ferris wheel here. And I want to show you, you know, like maybe I'll have to get another job to support this school coming to reality, but it's the foundation of something greater that only I can bring, this only vision I have. And I want to show it with you. I want to share this journey with you, whatever it looks like, wherever it might lead. And so I'm excited about that. And I'm excited to share some real authenticity on the internet, and for you to have the courage, even when it's up and down, to go for what you really want and see as you being you in the world. So drop me a comment. Last thing I'll say too is that with all of this, I've had some really cool ideas of things to teach about and to offer. And the first thing I want to say is, if you've ever been in my field and thought about coaching with me, now is your freaking chance, because this one-on-one coaching thing probably won't last forever. It might not last that much longer. And so if you're interested in getting one-on-one support or energy healing, stuff like that, in around purpose, intuition, authenticity, and relationships, please do email me at colleen@colleencoles.com, or you can go to my website, colleencoles.com, and hit me up, because this will probably be one of the last times ever you will get to coach if you want that type of breakthrough in one-on-one support and healing. So the second thing is that I have a really cool webinar coming up, which is all about feng shui and how you can create your space to be a reflection of you and let the energy of the universe have your back in what you do, so you can feel calm and at peace while you build success. So I want you to send me a message if you think that's interesting to you. I'll put you on a list that'll get you all in the know before anybody else, okay? Now, a second thing that I'm finally freaking doing, and I'm so stoked about it, is this course